4 different ways to make chapatis at home. Number 1, how to make pumpkin chapatis, so soft and so yummy. And number 2, how to make coconut soft and layered chapati. You guys, these chapatis are the real deal. And number 3, ghee and carrot chapatis, one of my favorite types of chapatis. And finally, on this video, I'll be showing you how to make milk powder chapatis. And all these chapatis, guys, are layered. They are so soft, and like you're going to see on this video, they are so easy to make. So keep on watching to find out how to make all these different types of chapos. And to start off, guys, you're going to need a small piece of pumpkin. If you do not have, you can use butternut, and you're going to just peel it and cut it into smaller pieces like you see on the video. 1 butternut will be enough for this purpose if you do not have this type of pumpkin. And after peeling and cutting it, you're going to bring it to a boil, and this is how the pumpkin should be after boiling. Add it to a bowl, but do not add any water. Just add the pumpkin alone and mash it like you see on the video. And after that, I start by adding milk powder, a 1/4 cup. And next, after adding milk powder, I added sugar. Add sugar to taste, and also salt depending on your preferences. Next, I added ghee, and I just added a 1/3 cup, and then I'm going to give that a very good mix. Note that all these ingredients are working towards making your chapatis soft, delicious, and very nutritious. And after mixing everything, now start adding all-purpose flour, and you're going to add it gradually while mixing in just to get a perfect consistency. So in total, I used a total of 2 cups, but use whatever amount of flour that you would like to make your chapatis. And then now you're going to start kneading. And when your dough starts to become sticky like you see on the video, do not add more flour, otherwise it's going to be you're going to make hard chapatis. So add 1 tablespoon of cooking oil, and you're going to knead it to ensure that it has been incorporated in the dough evenly like you see on the video. And kneading is key to making soft chapatis, and when your dough is like this, it's not yet ready, transfer it to a working surface so you can continue kneading so that the dough can be elastic enough and so that it can be soft enough for the chapatis. So transfer it to a working surface and then add a small amount of all-purpose flour to it and continue kneading. You can knead this for 15 to 20 minutes depending on the time that you've got at hand. And the idea is to activate the gluten in the wheat flour so that the chapatis can become soft. And after that, you're going to take your bowl and oil it just so that the dough does not stick on it. And then you're going to place the dough and apply a small amount of oil onto the dough, and then you're going to cover the dough with plastic wrap. And I left mine for a total of 3 hours. 1 hour would be just fine if you're pressed for time. And here is the dough after that time. You can see it's looking amazing. I'm just going to show you how the dough should look like. So soft and so elastic and so lovely like you see on the videos. This is how your chapatis are going to be. So the key to making soft chapatis is to knead the dough properly. And after that, I'm not going to add any layers to these chapatis because I don't want them to have too much oil, because remember I added ghee and also I added a tablespoon of oil, and I want them to be highly nutritious without too much oil. So just cut the the dough into small balls like you see on the video, and from this dough I got 9 chapatis. And you're going to cover them with a clean kitchen towel as you start rolling them out. And the reason why you're going to cover the chapatis is to prevent them from drying out. And use a small amount of flour just to help in the rolling of the chapatis. Roll to your recommended sizes, also depending on the size of the pan that you're going to make the chapatis in. And I'm just going to show you my recommended thickness. You can see it's not very thick. I like thin chapatis just so that they can cook even on the inside. And after that, your pan should be on fire and it should be hot. Now take your rolled chapati and place it on the pan, but do not add any oil first at this point. And I think I have said that in very many videos where I make chapatis. Do not add any oil first at this point. And after like 10 to 15 seconds, if your pan is hot enough, you're going to turn the chapati to the other side. Even it should not even be cooked. You're going to turn it to the other side, and you're going now to set it aside. You can see how it looks like. Set it aside, and you're going to do this to all the other chapatis. And after doing that, you can see my all 9 chapatis. Here they are. So now we start to fry the chapatis at this point. It makes work easier for me, and doing this helps me to just concentrate on one thing at a time. If it's cooking, if it's rolling, like that. And I added cooking fat to the pan and melted it, and then now I start frying the chapatis. Fry the downside first, and then you're going to turn to the other side and cook it the same way. And I prefer to use cooking fat when cooking my chapatis, but you can use even cooking oil if you do not like to use cooking fat. And like you can see, the first chapati is ready. You are going to do that to all the other chapatis. And you guys, these chapatis were so delicious and so soft. Like you can see even on the video, we ate them, we enjoyed them. And guys, I'm going to be making these chapatis again and again. And I hope you liked this video. If you did, do not forget to like this video and leave me a comment down below. Tell me how much you liked it, and also if you're going to try it out. And thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you guys on my next one. Kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel. Bye bye. So going over the ingredients, I used 2 cups all-purpose flour. I used 1 teaspoon salt and 1 teaspoon sugar. I also got 250 ml coconut milk, and I have extra all-purpose flour just for making the dough. But of course, you can alter these quantities depending on the size of your family and depending on the amount of chapatis that you'd like to make. So we start preparing the dough, and into the flour add sugar and salt, then give that a mix. And after mixing everything, make a well at the center of the ingredients, like you can see on the video. And then after that, start adding the coconut milk gradually. I did not use all the coconut milk because it was a lot. So add the coconut milk gradually, then start mixing the ingredients just to make a soft dough. And the coconut milk was not warm, it was not hot, it was at room temperature. And in most of my recipes, I show that I add oil to the flour when making the dough, but in this case I did not add oil or ghee because coconut milk already has a lot of oil, which is very delicious, and I thought that it would be pointless to add more oil because coconut milk has lots of oil in it. And then after mixing the dough, now transfer it to a working surface and start kneading it. And the softer the dough, the softer the chapatis will be. Knead as much as you can, you guys. The more you knead, the softer the dough will become, and the softer the dough, the softer the chapatis. And like you can see, the dough is so soft at this point. I kneaded the dough for like 15 minutes, and then after that I covered it in a clean kitchen towel, but also I had wrapped it in a plastic wrap, and I left it to rest for 2 hours. But if you are in a hurry, you can just leave it for 2 hours. And after 2 hours, you can see the dough is super soft, you guys. The longer you leave it, the better it becomes, the softer it becomes. So leave the dough for as long as you can. Yeah, you can see it is very, very soft. You can even tell from the video, and the fact that I did not add any oil, and it already sweat a lot and has a lot of oil in it because of the coconut milk. And then now cut the dough into small balls like shown on the video. I got 5 chapatis from the two cups of all-purpose flour, but I'm not sure if you can get more than this, but you can get like 4 large ones or 5 small ones. And then now start rolling the balls to make the layers, and there are so many different ways of making the layers, and I think I have shared that recipe here on my channel. If you would love to see a more elaborate way to make layers at home in chapatis, I'm going to link that video in the description box just so that you can check it out. And after rolling it out, spread some oil. Also, you can spread some ghee on the chapati, and then now start rolling it like shown on the video. This is a very simple technique that I used on this video, but there are many other elaborate and different ways to make layers in your chapatis. And then now after rolling it out, you're just going to roll it back into a ball shape. Just roll it over around using your finger like you can see on the video, and then just tuck the remaining dough at the center. You can see the layers. Then set it aside and repeat the same process to all the other balls like you can see on the video. Then spread some flour on top of the balls, and then cover them use a clean kitchen towel to cover the balls, and then leave them to rest for at least 30 minutes. Every time you work on chapati dough, give it some time to rest and leave it for as long as you can. And after 30 minutes now, it's time to start rolling out the balls. Also, be very careful when rolling the balls, just so that not to spoil the layers. Just be very gentle. And be sure to add some flour on top of the ball, just so that the chapati cannot stick on the rolling board. And after that, now it's time to fry your chapatis. Fry them as you normally would. In my case, I normally use cooking fat to fry my chapatis, but you can use cooking oil also. And the idea is to cook the chapatis until they are evenly cooked on both sides, until they have a nice golden brown color on them. That's how I love mine. You can see the first side is done, very well cooked, so delicious guys. These chapatis were so sweet, I love them so much. I served mine with coconut beans, of which the recipe I'm going to share here on my channel soon, and they were super delicious. Everyone loved them so much, and I can guarantee you that these chapatis are the best. So far I have loved them so much. And when the chapatis start to become hot, you can use a serviette just to hold the chapati on top, and then once the chapati is cooked on the other side, it's ready. Repeat the same process to the other chapatis. Like you can see, these chapatis, you guys, they were so soft. So for the ingredients, you will start with all-purpose flour and add it to a bowl. I used a total of 2 cups of all-purpose flour, but of course it depends with the size of your family how much you use. Also, I added sugar and taste. Again, this depends on the amount of flour that you add. And after that, I added a half cup of carrots. Be sure to use very fresh carrots, as they help to add to flavor and makes the chapatis even more soft. And after that, now add 2 tablespoons of ghee, and you can use any brand of ghee. There are so many brands of ghee here, and just choose whatever works for you. And after that, you're going to give it a good mix, just ensuring that the ghee and the all-purpose flour come together with all the other ingredients. And after that activity, now start adding water, and I used lukewarm water. And first I added a half cup of water, then gave that a good mix. Of course, it depends the size of the dough that you're making. That will determine the amount of water that you use. And then I continued adding, and in total I used like 3/4 cups of water. And then now, after mixing everything with a spatula, it's time to get your fingers in and start kneading. After kneading for a while, I transferred the dough to a work surface just to be able to knead it easily. And while kneading, I still added 2 tablespoons of ghee. Ghee makes chapatis very soft and very nutritious. Even the taste of ghee chapatis is quite distinct, and they are so delicious. And after that, I just continued kneading. I kneaded the dough for 15 minutes, and like you can see at this point now, you can stop kneading when your dough looks like this. And after that now, just check if the dough is okay. By pressing it down, it should bounce back. That proves that the dough is okay. Just spread some amount of ghee or even oil to a bowl, and then you're going to add the dough. Just cover it with the plastic wrap, and then you're going to leave it to rest for 2 hours. But if you're pressed for time, even 30 minutes would be just okay. The idea is to never work on the dough just immediately after working on it. Be sure to let it rest. And 2 hours later, you can see the dough looks super soft. Even just by the touch of it, you can see how elastic it is. Just shows you how soft it is. And when the dough is soft, the chapatis will be soft. Now it's time to make layers, and I have a video here on my channel showing you different types of ways to make layers. I will be linking that in the description box. Be sure to check that out. So for this recipe, I just used the simplest way to make layers. Just take your first ball and then roll it out, and you're going to spread like 1.5 tablespoons of ghee. Just spread it evenly on the chapati I mean. And you can use even a spoon to spread it. You can use your fingers. Just use whatever you've got. And after that, now go and fold the chapati like you see on the video, and then you're just going to pull it to be longer. And after that, just being sure not to spill all the ghee out. And after that, now you're going to roll it around your finger like shown on the video, just to make a ball again. And you're going to do this to all the other balls. It's quite some work, but the result, it's worth it. So just take your time, and you're going to get very nice chapatis. And you can see I already did that to all my balls. And now take the balls one by one, spread some flour on it, and then now you're going to roll it carefully now, not to spoil the layers. And also, as you continue kneading, be sure to add some flour on top, just to help the dough not to stick on the work surface. Just roll it to your desired size, depending on the size of your pan, and also depending on the sizes of the balls that you cut. And while this is happening, my pan was heating. So now this is my hot pan. Just take your chapatis one by one, and you're going to place them on the pan. And you will just allow the chapati to do not even allow it to cook. Just when you see the chapati starts to turn whitish on the upper part, turn to the other side like you see at this point. Do not add any oil. And now you're going to remove the chapati from the pan, and you're going to set it aside. And you will do this to all the other chapatis. Like you see here, all my other chapatis had been going through that process, and I already did that to all of them. I do that because this is my preferred method of cooking chapatis. This way they do not put me in a rush. And after that, now I use cooking fat to fry my chapatis. So just add enough cooking fat to the pan, and then now you're going to use a serviette to hold the chapati just in case it's hot and you can't withstand it. And then after the one side is cooked, now you turn to the other side. And like you can see, the first side is cooked, and you're just going now to cook the lower side. And since now the top side of the chapati is hot now, just take another chapati and place it on top. It will help you just to press the chapati and to move it around the pan, because remember the pan is very hot, and I prefer mine hot. because that way the chapatis usually come out so nice. And after that, the first chapati is ready. Do that to all the other chapatis, and like you can see guys, these chapatis were amazing, so delicious. I love them so much. I hope you give this a try. Thank you so much for being here. Put 2 cups of all-purpose flour into a large bowl, and then a half cup of milk powder. Then give that a very good mix with a mwiko. And guys, you can add more milk powder or less depending on the amount of chapatis that you are making. Next, I go in with salt and sugar. Then mix everything together. And here I have 2 tablespoons of cooking oil, but first I put like half of it and then give it a mix. The other half we are going to use when making the dough. And then I have a 3/4 cups of lukewarm water. You can use extra hot water if you like. Then I go in with my hands to make the dough. The idea is to have a very soft dough so that the chapatis can be soft as well. Then add the remaining water bits by bits. Now at this point, pour the remaining oil onto the dough and then continue kneading this for like 3 to 5 minutes until the dough is soft and all the ingredients have come together nicely. And after that, leave it to rest for 40 minutes to 1 hour. Remember to cover the dough with a damp, clean kitchen towel. And after 1 hour, this is how the dough is looking like. It is so soft. And guys, a tip: when your dough is very soft, the chapatis will also be soft. And then after that, cut the dough into small balls depending on the amount of chapatis again that you are making. And then at this point, we are going to layer the chapatis, and I just take one ball after the other, roll it out like you can see on the video. And then after rolling it out, pour a small amount of cooking oil onto the chapatis. And this is the first technique that I use for making layers, and it gives the best layers every time. And then I pour a small amount of the all-purpose flour onto the chapati that I have applied some oil on, and then I fold like you can see on the video. And then after folding the chapatis, now roll it to a ball shape. Roll it around like you can see on the video. It is so simple, guys. It is something that you can do for your families, and I'm sure they're going to love the chapatis. And the layers, when you use this technique, the layers will be very, very well defined. Yeah, then do that to all the other remaining balls. And here I'll show you another technique that you can use. Just apply some oil on the rolled chapati and then just fold it simply like you can see the way I'm folding. This is a very simple technique, and you can do it even when you're in a hurry. It is not like a long process that will take too much of your time. Yeah, just like that. So simple. and I got 5 chapatis from the dough that I had made, and that is how they are looking like after layering them. And then I'm just going to cover them and rest the chapatis for another 20 minutes before starting the next step. Then at this stage is to roll the chapati out, and when I'm doing this, my pan is already heating up. And just put the chapati on the pan, but at this point do not add any cooking fat first. And then let it turn color to cream white. Don't let it cook too much at this stage. Then at this point now turn the chapati. You can see the color is changed, but the chapati is still not cooked. And then put that on a pan and do that to all the other chapatis. And now it is time to fry the chapatis. I use cooking fat, and I just pour a small amount of the cooking fat on the hot pan. And then now I start frying the chapatis on both sides to get a golden brown color. You can see it is very well nicely cooked, and do that to all the other chapatis. Make sure that they are golden brown in color, and you are going to love them, guys. I assure you these chapatis are the best so far. I have done another recipe of how to use milk to make soft and delicious chapatis, but this is also another way that you can make your chapatis at time when you have milk powder in your cupboard, and I assure you that you are going to love them. And thank you so much for watching this video. Again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly consider doing so. And I would like to thank all the people that have continued to support my channel. Those are the chapatis. They were looking so amazing, you guys. You can see how soft they were looking on the video. I love them so much, and I'm sure you're going to love them. And I hope to see you guys on my next video.